April 12, 2025, a daughter, once the apple of her mother's eye, discovers a truth so devastating that it shatters the very foundation of their relationship. What unfolds next is a tale of betrayal, revenge, and a tragedy that no one saw coming. Sarah had always been the heart of her family, a devoted wife, a nurturing mother, and the glue that held everything together. Her life, seemingly perfect, was a tapestry woven with love, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. James, her husband, was a man of charm and charisma, his smile capable of lighting up any room. To the outside world, he was the epitome of a loving spouse and father. Emily, their daughter, had always been close to her mother. Their bond was unspoken but strong, built on years of shared moments and mutual respect. But as Emily grew older, she began to notice a distance between her parents that hadn't been there before. Welcome to True Shocking Crime Base. I certainly thank you, my viewers, most especially my subscribers. We hold you dear to us. Thanks for your support as we keep improving and bringing daily stories you won't hear anywhere else. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. In the heart of New York, amidst the towering skyscrapers and the ceaseless rhythm of city life, a quiet triumph unfolded. Sarah and Robert had always envisioned a future where their daughter, Emily, would not just survive but thrive. From the moment she took her first steps, they knew the world was hers to conquer. Determined to provide her with every opportunity, they enrolled Emily in one of the city's most prestigious schools. It wasn't just about academics, it was about shaping a future, about giving her the tools to dream beyond the horizon. Years passed, and Emily blossomed. She wasn't just a student, she was a beacon of potential, a reflection of her parents' sacrifices and hopes. Her dedication was evident in every project, every exam, every challenge she faced. Then came the day they had all been waiting for. The air was thick with anticipation as Emily stood among her peers, clad in cap and gown, ready to receive her diploma. In the audience, Sarah and Robert exchanged a glance, their hearts swelling with pride. This was more than just a ceremony, it was the culmination of years of hard work, of dreams nurtured and realized. As Emily's name was called, a hush fell over the crowd. With each step she took toward the stage, memories flooded her parents' minds, the late nights spent helping with homework, the sacrifices made to ensure she had the best, the unwavering belief in her potential. Receiving her diploma, Emily beamed, her eyes scanning the crowd until they met her parents. At that moment, time seemed to stand still. The applause around them faded into the background as Sarah and Robert exchanged a silent promise: they had done it. After the ceremony, the family gathered for a celebration. Laughter echoed through the halls as friends and relatives congratulated Emily. But amidst the festivities, Sarah and Robert shared a quiet moment, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. Emily's graduation wasn't just a personal achievement, it was a testament to the love, sacrifices, and unwavering support of a family united in purpose. It was a day that would forever be etched in their hearts, a reminder that dreams, no matter how big, are within reach when nurtured with love and determination. As the sun set on that memorable day, the family stood together, ready to face the future, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they had each other, and that was all they needed. In the bustling streets of New York, amidst the hum of city life, Emily found herself at a crossroads. Her career was flourishing, her friendships were strong, yet something was missing, a connection that transcended the ordinary. It was during a chance encounter at a mutual friend's art gallery opening that Emily met Daniel. He was a man whose presence commanded attention, not through grand gestures, but through a quiet confidence and a warmth that drew people in. Their initial conversation was light, centered around the artwork that adorned the gallery walls. But beneath the surface, there was an undeniable spark. Emily found herself intrigued by his insights, his sense of humor, and the genuine interest he took in her thoughts. As weeks turned into months, their relationship blossomed. They explored the city's hidden gems, shared late-night conversations over cups of coffee, and supported each other through life's challenges. Daniel admired Emily's ambition and intellect, while she was drawn to his kindness and unwavering support. One crisp autumn evening, as they walked hand in hand through Central Park, Daniel stopped and turned to Emily. With a soft smile, he spoke the words that would change their lives forever. "Emily, will you marry me?" Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she nodded, overwhelmed with emotion. The man she had come to love had just asked her to spend a lifetime together. The wedding planning began in earnest. Emily envisioned a celebration that reflected their shared journey, a blend of elegance and intimacy. The ceremony was held in a charming vineyard just outside the city, with rows of grapevines stretching into the horizon. On the day of the wedding, Sarah and Robert stood side by side, their hearts swelling with pride. Their daughter, the young girl they had once held in their arms, was now a woman embarking on a new chapter of her life. As Emily walked down the aisle, her eyes locked with Daniel's, and in that moment, the world seemed to fade away. The vows they exchanged were not just words, they were promises forged through years of love and understanding. The reception that followed was a joyous affair, filled with laughter, dancing, and heartfelt toasts. Sarah and Robert watched as their daughter and her new husband shared their first dance, a symbol of the love that had brought them together. As the evening drew to a close, Sarah whispered to Robert, "We did good." Their daughter had found a partner who cherished her, and together, they would navigate the adventures that lay ahead. Emily and Daniel's wedding was more than just a union of two people, it was a celebration of love, family, and the beautiful unpredictability of life. It was a testament to the idea that sometimes, the most extraordinary love stories begin in the most unexpected ways. In the early days of Emily and Daniel's marriage, life unfolded with the gentle cadence of routine. The newlyweds settled into their apartment, sharing quiet mornings and evenings filled with laughter and love. Sarah, Emily's mother, often visited, delighted to see her daughter so happy. She marveled at the couple's bond, unaware that beneath the surface, a different connection was quietly taking root. One evening, Sarah found herself alone in the city, her husband away on business. Seeking solace, she wandered into a cozy bar nestled in a quiet corner of town. The dim lighting and soft jazz music created an inviting atmosphere. As she settled onto a bar stool, she noticed a familiar face across the room, Daniel. Their eyes met, and a flicker of recognition passed between them. Daniel approached, his smile warm and genuine. "Sarah, what a pleasant surprise," he remarked, his voice smooth and comforting. They exchanged pleasantries, and soon, a conversation flowed effortlessly between them. The evening progressed with shared stories and laughter. Sarah found herself drawn to Daniel's charm and attentiveness. He listened intently, his responses thoughtful and engaging. There was an ease in their interaction, a connection that felt both familiar and new. As the night wore on, Sarah felt a sense of camaraderie with Daniel. They had spoken many times before, but this encounter was different, more intimate, more personal. She attributed it to the relaxed setting and the absence of Emily, which allowed for a more open exchange. Unbeknownst to Sarah, this meeting marked the beginning of a dangerous liaison. The lines between familial affection and romantic attraction blurred, setting the stage for a betrayal that would shatter the family. In the weeks that followed, Sarah and Daniel's meetings became more frequent. What started as casual encounters evolved into secret rendezvous. Their connection deepened, fueled by shared moments and unspoken understanding. Sarah, caught in the throes of this forbidden relationship, grappled with guilt and desire. She justified her actions, convincing herself that Emily would never know, that the love she had for her daughter remained unchanged. But deep down, she knew the truth, what she was doing was wrong, yet she couldn't stop. The affair continued in the shadows, hidden from Emily's view. Sarah wore her mask well, playing the role of the devoted mother and grandmother. But behind closed doors, she was someone else, someone who had crossed a line that should never have been approached. As time passed, the consequences of Sarah's actions began to unfold. Emily remained blissfully unaware, her trust in her mother and husband unwavering. But the foundation of their relationships was built on a lie, and lies, no matter how well concealed, have a way of surfacing. She would visit more often and they became less careful around the house even when Emily was around. They will steal kisses in the kitchen. And sometimes at night Daniel will secretly join her in the shower. It was a morning like any other when Sarah felt the first stirrings of unease. The subtle changes in her body had gone unnoticed at first, an unusual fatigue, a slight tenderness in her breasts, and an inexplicable wave of nausea. But as the days passed, these sensations intensified, gnawing at her with a quiet insistence. Her period was late. Not by much, but enough to unsettle her. She had always been regular, and this deviation from her cycle felt like an anomaly. Daniel, ever the attentive side guy, noticed the subtle shifts in her demeanor. He asked if she was feeling all right, his concern evident in his gentle gaze. Sarah assured him it was nothing, attributing her symptoms to stress or perhaps a minor illness. But deep down, she knew. The signs were too consistent, too persistent to ignore. She needed confirmation. One afternoon, Sarah found herself standing in the aisle of a local pharmacy. The array of pregnancy test kits before her seemed overwhelming. She reached for a box, her fingers trembling slightly as she read the instructions. At home, she followed the directions meticulously. The test was simple: collect a urine sample, dip the test strip, and wait. As the minutes ticked by, her heart raced in her chest. When the result window finally appeared, Sarah's breath caught in her throat. A single line. Negative. Relief washed over her, but it was fleeting. She had read that some tests could be inaccurate, especially if taken too early. Determined to be certain, Sarah purchased another test the following day. This time, she took it first thing in the morning, when HCG levels are typically highest. She followed the instructions with precision, her hand steady despite the whirlwind of thoughts in her mind. The result window appeared again. This time, 2 lines. Positive. Her heart skipped a beat. She was pregnant. A mixture of emotions flooded her: joy, fear, excitement, uncertainty. She sat down, the weight of the moment settling over her. She arranged to meet with Daniel immediately. Later that day, when they met at their usual spot, she handed him the test strip, her hands trembling. He looked at it, confusion crossing his features. "What does this mean?" "It means," Sarah began, her voice barely above a whisper, "we're going to have a baby." A stunned silence enveloped them. Daniel's eyes searched hers, seeking confirmation, understanding. And in that moment, amidst the uncertainty, they both realized that their lives were about to change in ways they had never imagined. How could they allow it to get to this extent? Their affair was not supposed to have a product of pleasure. He left her there without saying anything. One evening, as Sarah was preparing dinner, Emily overheard a snippet of a conversation that would alter the course of their lives. The words were casual, but the implication was clear: "I can't wait to see you tonight." Emily's heart sank. She knew her mother had been spending more time at work, but this was different. The following days were a blur for Emily. She tried to dismiss her suspicions, attributing them to overactive imagination. But the signs were undeniable. A perfume scent on her jacket that wasn't her father's. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, each one confirming her worst fear. Unable to confront her mother directly, Emily turned inward. She began documenting her observations in a diary, a safe space where she could process her emotions. One entry read, "I will see them together. How could she do this to us?" The words were raw, filled with pain and betrayal. As the days turned into weeks, Emily's internal turmoil grew. She watched as her mother continued with life as usual, oblivious to the storm brewing within her daughter. Emily felt trapped between love and anger, loyalty and justice. The woman she had always looked up to had become a stranger, and the man she had called father was now a symbol of deceit. The weight of the secret was unbearable. Emily knew she had to confront her mother, to demand answers. But the fear of shattering their family, of losing the woman who had always been her rock, held her back. She was caught in a web of emotions, hurt, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal. In the quiet moments, when the house was still and the world outside seemed distant, Emily would find herself staring at her parents, searching for any sign that they were the same people she had once known. But all she saw were strangers, their smiles masking the lies they had told. Emily knew her mother was having an affair. But she didn't know who she was with. She was about to find out the most shocking truth of her life. One that she could never have imagined. And so, Emily waited. She waited for the right moment to confront her mother, to seek the truth that had eluded her. But as the days passed, she realized that the truth was no longer enough. The pain of betrayal had taken root, and revenge began to take shape in her heart. This is the story of a family torn apart by secrets and lies. A tale of love, betrayal, and the lengths one daughter would go to in search of justice. The betrayal was not just of her father, but of the very woman who had given her life. That fateful day when the truth was revealed. Her whole world came crashing down. She came back home earlier than usual to prepare dinner for her husband, as she wanted to surprise him with the news of her promotion. But she noticed his car in the driveway as she pulled in. Why is he home early without telling her, she wondered. As she made her way through the living room to their bedroom, she could hear sounds of moaning from their room. She could never have imagined what she was about to see next. As she opened the door, look and behold her mother riding her husband in their matrimonial bed. She shouted, "Daniel!" Sarah looked up, her face pale, eyes wide with apprehension. She had always been the protector, the unwavering pillar in Emily's life. But now, she was the one who needed protection, from the truth she had hidden for so long. The room seemed to shrink around them, the air thick with the weight of Emily's revelation. Sarah's breath hitched, her eyes welling with tears. She had hoped, prayed even, that Emily would never find out. But now, the truth was out, and there was no escaping it. "Emily, I never meant for you to find out this way," Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. "I was weak, and I made a terrible mistake." Emily's gaze hardened, the pain of years of deception flooding her senses. Her mother, the woman she had trusted above all others, had betrayed her in the most intimate way. "You lied to me," Emily spat, her voice rising. "You lied to me, and you lied to Dad. How could you do this?" Sarah collapsed onto the bed, her sobs racking her body. She had never imagined that her actions would lead to this, her daughter, her flesh and blood, standing before her in judgment. "I'm sorry," Sarah choked out between sobs. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you." But Emily was beyond comforting. The years of silence, the hidden truths, had built a wall between them that no apology could tear down. "I trusted you," Emily whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "And you broke that trust." The room fell into a heavy silence, the only sound the soft sobs of a mother who had lost everything. Emily turned and walked towards the door, her heart heavy with the weight of the betrayal. She paused, her hand on the doorknob, and looked back one last time. "I don't know if I can forgive you," she said quietly, before stepping out into the night, leaving her mother to face the consequences of her actions alone. In the end, what was once a bond forged by love and trust between mother and daughter was irrevocably shattered. The pursuit of vengeance, born from deep-seated betrayal, led them both down a path from which there was no return. What do you think? Would you have forgiven your mother if you caught her with your husband in bed? Do you think Daniel is also to blame for his inability to control himself? What kind of mother sleeps with her daughter's husband? For in the end, the cost of revenge is often higher than we ever imagined. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to True Shocking Crime Base. Thank you for supporting us. Remember, we will continue to bring you stories you won't hear anywhere else.